Hi, my name is Lee Cerveny. I'm presenting National Scenic Trails, Challenges and Opportunities in Shared Stewardship, along with co-presenters Monica Darian and Anna Miller. This presentation is part of the 2020 ISSRM Virtual Conference. We are part of the session entitled Recreation and Public Lands in the United States, organized by Wade Morse. Thank you for tuning in. Shared stewardship approaches are motivated by a common vision for how lands may be managed to achieve shared benefits. They may be implemented through partnerships, both long-standing and emerging. They require building social capital, and it involves shared leadership and decision-making space. Shared stewardship is an approach being taken by public land management agencies in the United States. According to U.S. Forest Service Chief Vicki Christensen, shared stewardship is about working together in an integrated way to make decisions and take action on the land. Shared stewardship also can be important for outdoor recreation management. In fact, the management of National Scenic Trails has been embracing a shared stewardship ideal since its very onset. The National Trail System Act of 1968 authorized a national system of trails to provide outdoor recreation opportunities and to promote the preservation of access to our nation's outdoor areas and historic resources. The 1968 Act created National Scenic Trails and National Recreation Trails, as well as the connecting trails that feed into them. The Act also created two National Scenic Trails, the Appalachian Trail and the Pacific Crest Trail, and it requested that an additional 14 trail routes be studied for possible inclusion. In 1978, the Act was amended to include National Historic Trails. So today, our National Trail System includes these three components: National Scenic Trails, National Historic Trails, and National Recreation Trails. Today, we're going to talk about National Scenic Trails. National Scenic Trails extend across multiple land jurisdictions. They're managed by different federal agencies, tribes, states, and private landowners, and they are assigned and administering federal agencies such as the National Park Service, the U.S. Forest Service, or the Bureau of Land Management to coordinate among partners, provide technical assistance, and adhere to legislative requirements. They include the trail corridor and associated natural, recreational, scenery, and cultural resources. In the founding legislation of the National Trail System Act, Congress acknowledged the integral role of volunteers and trail groups, and they set out to, and I quote, encourage and assist volunteer citizen involvement in planning, development, maintenance, and management of trails. We sought to answer the following questions. What are the roles that partners play in management and maintenance of National Scenic Trails? What are the benefits and challenges of National Scenic Trail partnerships? What are some of the emerging issues that face management of National Scenic Trails, and how can partners be engaged? Finally, what can we learn about shared stewardship from examining the management of National Scenic Trails? I'll provide a brief overview of the National Scenic Trails. So currently there are 11 identified trails. Now 3 long-distance trails were identified early in the process: the Appalachian Trail, the Continental Divide Trail, and the Pacific Crest Trail. These are known as the Triple Crown. They are treasured among long-distance through hikers, or end-to-enders as they're called, who hike the entire length of the trail. Now the most recent trails, the Arizona National Scenic Trail and the Pacific Northwest Trail, were added in 2009. Here's a map showing all 11 trails. You can see that the Pacific Crest Trail and the Continental Divide Trail extend all the way from Mexico to Canada. These two trails are connected by the Pacific Northwest Trail. The North Country Trail crosses 8 states from North Dakota to Vermont, and the Appalachian Trail leads hikers from Georgia to Maine. Last year, 1,100 hikers completed that trip. 2 trails intersect with the Appalachian Trail, the New England Trail and the Potomac Heritage Trail. Trails receive a varying amount of use. Trails closer to the populated areas receive more short-term use, day use, or short walking or backpacking trips. For this project, we conducted semi-structured interviews with 14 experts with special knowledge about National Scenic Trail partnerships. We talked to 7 trail administrators from federal agencies. We talked to 3 partner organizations. We talked to 1 national trail organization and 3 federal agency employees who work in the trails. We asked them about the historic role that trail partners play in the trail formation, about current roles of trail partners, about the benefits and challenges of trail partnerships, about current issues they're facing on National Scenic Trails, especially in wilderness areas, and we also were interested in their vision of the ideal models of National Scenic Trail stewardship. Our foray into the literature on shared stewardship and partnerships for outdoor recreation led to some important contributions. We learned that shared governance and co-management is important for sustainable management of recreation resources. We learned that partnerships provide important opportunities for public engagement. They can serve to leverage resources, expand collective capacity, or increase exposure or trail awareness. They can serve also to engage communities. Elements of successful partnerships included a shared vision, a strategy or clear pathway for achieving that vision, leadership, resources, an organizational commitment to partnerships, formal agreements, and having concrete accomplishments. Our interviews revealed a wide range of partners that are part of the National Scenic Trail system. There are national level partners, both federal agencies and non-federal organizations that support National Scenic Trails as a whole. There are regional partners on the governmental and non-governmental side that support particular trails, for example, serving as a federal trail administrator or a non-federal partner for a National Scenic Trail. Then there are local partners, and these include local chapters of the National Scenic Trail Partner, or they may include an array of trail clubs, outing clubs, landowners, state or county land managers, and NGOs that support trail segments. Land trusts also play an important role in this process by helping to acquire private lands or conservation easements that can help to complete a trail. Trail partners can serve a variety of roles. They can be a community connector, connecting with local communities and regional partners to bolster trail awareness, engage with volunteers, and identify beneficial opportunities. They can be helpful for trail maintenance, engaging and coordinating volunteers, staff, and seasonal crews to complete on-the-ground trail building and maintenance tasks. They can be a trail watchdog, serving as the eyes and ears on the trail, monitoring trail conditions and any adjacent uses. They're important for communications, informing and connecting trail users through social media, trail stewards, signage, and online resources. And they're important for acquisitions, helping to develop complete trail connections among segments by acquiring rights-of-way and easements across private land and by widening the trail corridor. Finally, they can be trail advocates. They can represent trail interests in agency planning efforts and convey to Congress, foundations, and industry groups the need for resources to support trails. Balancing these roles while navigating relationships among trail administrators, other state and federal agencies, and cooperating partners can prove challenging for trail partners. In our interviews, we asked experts to identify the benefits of National Scenic Trail partnerships. Partners help to connect and convene other partners. They leverage relations with a wide range of partners in support of trails. They provide customer service or one-stop shopping for trail activities. They help to monitor local trail conditions on the ground, providing real-time information about hazards and safety concerns. They help to acquire and leverage resources, hiring and recruiting volunteers, grant writing, activating donors and sponsors for projects, and providing equipment and tools for trail maintenance. Partners provide technical expertise, skills in trail design, trail building, analysis, and providing training in trail construction and maintenance. They help to foster community connections, building support and community pride for trails. And they provide educational opportunities, conveying environmental ethics and trail etiquette to visitors, and offering educational programs during special events. We also found several challenges associated with trail partnerships. One challenge is the need to manage competing needs. Trail partners' priorities may not always align with public land managers. This requires negotiation and mutual expectation setting. It's also important to ensure that trail group priorities are not overshadowing the interests of other critical stakeholders or the public. It's also important to balance types of trail use. Many types of visitors use National Scenic Trails. Some organizations may cater to long-distance hikers, but the trails are important for weekenders, day hikers, and other trailhead visitors. And trails are not just for hikers, but they are there for equestrian users, mountain bikers, and others to enjoy. There are some bureaucratic barriers that are challenging. Trail partners may have difficulties working within and alongside the federal bureaucratic system. Another challenge is related to administrative leadership. Trail groups face challenges in management, finance, strategic planning, fundraising, and development. Another challenge is related to advocacy roles. Trail partners have to be careful keeping their advocacy work separate from trail planning, prioritizing, and maintenance as they work alongside federal agencies. Finally, there's the issue of trust. Maintaining transparency, fostering relationships, and building trust among federal and trail partners and volunteers is an ongoing concern. Misunderstandings can set partnerships back. Now I'm going to reflect on a few critical issues that emerged in our interviews. The first is about increasing trail use. In recent years, the popularity of long-distance through hiking has been bolstered by several popular films and books, such as the book Wild, which was adapted to film and starred Reese Witherspoon as a troubled adult seeking restoration and redemption on the Pacific Crest Trail. Trail administrators noted a marked uptick in use the year after that film came out. Other media reports and growing research on nature-health connections have popularized the idea of long-distance trail hiking for veterans with trauma and PTSD. On some trails, regional tourism promoters have acknowledged the trail and sought to encourage trail use as an economic development strategy. Partners can play a role in facilitating trail use through guidebooks, trip reports, and websites. They can also help to mitigate growing use by communicating trail etiquette, the permit systems, and wilderness regulation to users. A number of trends have changed the way people hike long-distance trails. Trail apps allow hikers to learn from others about the best campsites or water sources. Hikers who rely on the app often end up camping at the same locations, with effects on the natural and social conditions there. This has special implications for wilderness areas, where group sizes are limited to fewer than 8 individuals. In one wilderness area along the Pacific Crest Trail in Oregon, one of our interviewees observed more than 50 people camping separately but together in one site. Trail angels leave care packages along the trails for hikers at certain times, or they may offer rides to town or other services. Through trail apps and word of mouth, these angels can be harnessed, which tends to result in hikers clustering at trailheads. As hikers coalesce, there are implications for social and biophysical conditions that exist along the trail. A trend towards ultra-light hiking means that some are traveling with light equipment, running shoes, small packs, and spending little time at camp. They prefer protein bars to cans of beans and may not be carrying a tent. Many start hiking before dawn and continue long after dusk, essentially resting briefly along the trail. This can create impacts trailside and concerns about sanitation in the near corridor. GPS devices help hikers navigate the trail and improve safety, but they also allow hikers to follow along the trail without actually being on the trail, essentially expanding the trail profile laterally. Trail partners can help to create awareness about the effects of clustering along the trail and encourage hikers to practice appropriate trail etiquette and leave no trace ethics. They can use their role as communicators to get the word out and help hikers to disperse. Several trends raise concerns about the future of National Scenic Trails, including federal agency budget declines, maintenance backlogs, and fewer trained personnel. As employees retire, they bring their skills with them. Agencies are facing losses in institutional knowledge and relying more heavily on partners to help with trail planning and maintenance. Meanwhile, partners are also seeing a shift in volunteer demographics and are looking for new ways to attract future volunteers. New strategies and approaches to expand the base of partner organizations can help to build resilience in the system. Another issue involves supporting trails and completing trail segments. Many stretches of our trails exist along highways and roads, and this raises safety concerns for people hiking the trails. Land trusts can help to facilitate the conservation easements that help to complete these trail segments that are disconnected. Trail partners also can help to bolster awareness of the trail and its benefits in the local communities. And they can help to build capacity of local organizations and foster interest in the trail and trail maintenance to help allow these sections to flourish. Many land managers and partners view National Scenic Trail partnerships as the original and ideal model for shared stewardship, and they recognize the critical role that volunteers play. As one of our experts explained, there is something special that comes from the language of the Act and the history that it draws, the idea of true shared stewardship and co-management, and that notion that everyone is trying to partner. From the conception of trails to their designation and management, National Scenic Trails build on a public passion for trails that is channeled and orchestrated into effective working partnerships among private and public institutions. While these partnerships vary in how they are organized and staffed, they all demonstrate a joint investment in stewarding shared public resources. Shared stewardship is at the heart of current land management agency approaches. The partnership structures, investments, and networks for National Scenic Trails deserve our attention as an effective case study and model for engaging in meaningful work with others. I want to thank the many people who took time to meet with our team to talk about our work with National Scenic Trails. I also want to thank Jeremy Wimpy, who invited us to do this project for a special issue of the International Journal of Wilderness, where you can learn more about this work. And I want to thank you for taking time to listen. I hope you'll consider commenting on the presentation or attending our live panel session at the ISSRM virtual conference, where we can engage in further discussion. Finally, we have provided a few references here where you can find more information. And, well, it goes without saying, happy trails.